People are pretty upset with the numbers.
Yeah, look, no one's thrilled to see more cases rather than less, Raf. But what this... Yeah, sorry, absolutely, true.
I guess some people might feel that you haven't been as honest as you could be, or as I'll use the word honest. Haven't been as honest as you could be about right. We can put up with 10 because it looks like we've got 10 both mystery cases and around an average. It looks like you're going to let us have a whole lot of personal freedoms but not business freedoms next weekend. I guess there's a fair bit of commentary around today and a fair few people saying, look, why doesn't he just say, yep, we can work with 10, we can live with 10?
Well, I would be disappointed to think that people felt that way. I've tried to be nothing but frank and as clear as I can be. And sometimes that means I finish up foreshadowing things and posing questions that I can't answer all of them on the day that I do it. And I made a conscious choice the other day when we wake up to headlines that people's hearts have been broken and all these sorts of things, and I thought it was appropriate to say, look, we don't be in that place. Instead, know and understand that we are working towards some easing on Sunday. Now, that then invited, not a criticism, but that then invited a whole range of questions, and that's your job to say, well, what does that look like? And I had to be equally clear to say, I can't answer those questions now. I could speculate, but then I don't know that that's particularly healthy. And the other thing too, Rap, is the decisions haven't been made, and they won't be made till, well into probably the evening of Saturday night. So on the issue of 0, 5, 10, all of those things, look, I've always tried to be clear with people to say we have targets and we have modelling based on those targets. The best public health advice says to us that those targets can be achieved. The question will become over what period. And if it is going to take an unacceptably long, now the next question will be how long's that, but an unacceptably long period of time to get to those numbers, I've always tried to be clear that, it may come to, let me just finish and then I'm happy to take a follow-up, as many as you want. It may get to a point where all of our advice is this is as good as it's going to get. And therefore, we just have to brace ourselves for a fight, an opening up, and therefore a fight against this virus in that set of circumstances that will be harder than if we had been able to get it to 5 or 0. I've tried to be pretty clear about that. Maybe I've not expressed it as clearly as that before, but we've always said we'll look at common sense. We'll always have common sense when we look at these numbers, and we'll always look to try and understand the story that sits behind them.
Maybe the more concrete question is,
sure,
on Sunday or maybe in 2 weeks' time, would you reissue that roadmap, especially around the daily average and the number of mystery cases?
Sure.
Are you reconsidering where you set those?
I think, yes, we are, because they're a series of targets that are based on 1,000+ assumptions. And as I've said many, many times, data always trumps the assumptions that you've fed into any model, even if it's a really robust model and it's been run by numerous supercomputers and lots of different experts and multiple universities. And then we've had a number of medical research institutes come on board as we've continued to evolve that. It may be at a point where we have to call it and we have to say, look, this is as good as it's going to get. That means there is some greater risk. That means the task of keeping this thing suppressed is going to be harder. Yeah. But that's where we find ourselves, and that's the choice that we have to make. Because to achieve a lower number, and again, assumptions and actuals, the latter is what really matters. Yeah. To achieve that lower number might mean we were locked down for too long, and even then there might be, and that lockdown and its consequences might not be proportionate. So an increase in the task, yep, but the burden might be still greater. So on that basis, we've got to run faster, we've got to do more, we've got to chase harder even, and there'll be some inherent risk in that. That's why time's so important. Even a day or two in this can make a real difference, because you do get a more complete picture every day.
So just on maybe we have to live with higher numbers than set out in the roadmap.
Sorry, your question was, will we redo the roadmap? The answer is yes.
Yep.
I think once we get to Sunday, where I've pretty clearly foreshadowed that there's going to... Well, a couple of points. I think we might reconsider some of the numbers, because again, we've got more and more actuals, But the other thing that we, by definition, will have to reconsider is the different steps. Because if there's a, for want of a better term, and I'm sure we'd probably come up with one that's a bit more hopeful on this, but a 3- for Melbourne and a 3+ for regional Victoria, if that's where Sunday lands, or maybe a mixture of Sunday and then the following Sunday for regional Victoria, for instance. And again, we're getting into this territory where I'm speculating and I can't necessarily answer all the questions, but I'm trying to give people a sense of where our thinking's at. That means the roadmap will have to be redrawn, because you've essentially broken up different stages. And the reason we've done that is that we've made really good progress, and none of us should move away from the fact that 6.5, 7 weeks ago we had 725 cases, and it's not 25 cases now, it's 15 today. We've achieved an awful lot. It's that stubborn tail, those last few cases, 1 outbreak, 2 outbreaks, and all of a sudden your rolling average becomes, it just gets very tough, very, very tough for us to get to where we had hoped to be.